Mr. Glimcher, welcome and thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us about Jean Dubuffet. You've been his gallerist for how long?
For 40 some years. Since 1966.
What convinced you to invest in this artist?
It wasn't investing in the artist. I come from a slightly different time where it was never about money. There was no market in the art world, especially for contemporary art. And I just loved the work. When I was a student in art history, I wrote a major paper on Dubuffet's prints. So then when I opened my gallery in 1960, I started buying and selling Dubuffet's prints. So it was quite fantastic for me that the miracle happened that I became his dealer because I just adored the work.
What fascinates you in the work?
Well, I like the way he breaks all boundaries of what painting is. It's simply, he shatters the idea of the Western concept of beauty. And instead of grace, elegance, style, he's interested in awkward, clumsy, unexpected movements, gestures, and inelegant works. Now, what Dubuffet has done has changed the tide of taste and turned it in his own direction. What was once ugly in his work is now very beautiful. But that's what a great artist does. And I think there are a handful of them in the 20th century. And I think he ranks easily with Picasso, Miro, Leger. I think he's one of the great artists of the century.
How would you contextualize him in terms of his contemporaries and contemporary artists nowadays?
I think his contemporaries were only Bacon and Giacometti. Now, there were many other artists buzzing around him, like Fautrier, but he, Giacometti, and Bacon were the face of Europe after the war. Everything torn, ripped, and starting anew from really the dregs. Contemporaries, I think that Oldenburg is, of course, completely influenced. The greatest influence on him was Dubuffet. Some of his early drawings, he signs Dubuffet. I have a drawing of his that's very much like the Dubuffet Écritures, or Petit Message, the writing paintings of Dubuffet. And it says, this drawing looks a lot like Dubuffet. There's no question in my mind that the greatest influence on Basquiat is Dubuffet. He comes right out of these paintings, especially the late paintings. And I knew Jean-Michel very well, and he came to my gallery always to see Dubuffet. So his influence continues. I don't think there's a young artist today that has the power of the late work of Dubuffet.
You chose to do the interview in front of this painting. What talks to you in this painting?
I think this painting is amongst the last paintings. It's a painting called Mir. It's from the series called Mir. And I think it is like the electric circuitry of the brain. Dubuffet's at the end of his career, and he's eliminating everything he possibly can. The color is only red, white, and blue. So there's, as he said to me once, there's no emotional association between red, yellow, and blue. And he's come to the point in his life where he'll do the next series called Non-lieu, which is a legal term that means no verdict. And Dubuffet is taking everything out of the paintings. It's like chalk screeching on a blackboard. It's crying for a kind of resolution, and there is no resolution. And the painting goes off the edges. And the painting is made of pieces of paper stuck together because he can't manage a huge canvas. And the emotion and drama in the painting just knocks me out.
And what can you say about the show here at the Beyeler in general?
I think it's one of the 3 greatest Dubuffet shows I've ever seen. And I've seen every Dubuffet show in the last 50 years. It actually, of all the shows, I think it's my favorite. The other two would be the Guggenheim show, and the great one was Daniel Abadi's show in Paris at the Centre Pompidou. But because the show is manageable in scale, you really see each work, and you see the development of the work in a very fresh way. I think of all the shows, it's the most beautiful and perfectly selected, and I'm usually very critical because I think Dubuffet is a member of my family. I sort of have ownership in a funny way. I have nothing to say but laudatory things about this exhibition. Brilliantly curated, just brilliant. And then, of course, this is one of the most beautiful museums in the world to look at art.
Great, thank you. What a great end to end.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much.